right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Apple Dallas meeting in July 13th, 2024. My name is Tim Baker, and I'm here to do the presentation today. I was actually here last month doing the presentation, and I got moved up from, I was scheduled to originally do this in October, and I got moved up to this weekend because we have so many absent today. Jonesy's not with us. Richard's not with us. He's at a family reunion. Taylor is remote. And Lawrence, I'm thinking, is working with FEMA with all the folks that are suffering from the recent disasters all over the country. So I'm not sure what computer. I've got two computers up here. I'm not sure what camera I need to look at to communicate with you. I don't see you because I'm looking at my computers and I don't have anybody else on the screen. So my apologies. So let me see what's on the screen is my first slide. I'll move on to that. So obviously, I don't know if can everybody hear me first most? Can I get somebody to reply remotely to let me know that you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Very good. Just needed that reassurance that I was getting out there that somebody could hear me. So anyway, so obviously computers have been around for a long time. This is a photograph of the ENIAC computer from I can't even give you a year because wasn't around back then. Basically, this was my first contact with computer was back in 1961. My father and I sat at the kitchen table in Huntsville, Alabama, and assembled this analog calculator, a kit, like I said, available for, I think it was around $30 at that point in time, operated off a couple of D-cell batteries. And it was, like I said, it's an analog calculator where you would put on a headphone, and then you would enter in a number on the first dial and then enter in a number on the second dial, like an electronic slide rule in a sense. And then you would take the third dial, and when you match the harmonics of the two other tones, that would be your answer. So yeah, it was quite fun putting the kit together. I was all of 10 years old back then when that happened. Then we moved up to this. My dad actually worked for General Electric. He was in charge of a lot of the mainframes all over the country through the General Electric time sharing. And we had one of these teletypes in our house, of all things. And funny story, when I was in high school in 1969, the math class at our high school was beginning to teach computer science. And I walked up to the math teacher, and at that point in time, I was actually an employee of the school district also. Not only did I go to school there, but I was a custodian. I worked after school got out, I worked as a custodian. So as a custodian, I walked up to the math teacher and I said, "We've got one of these in our house." They had just received this. And he goes, "You don't even know what it is?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I do." I said, "You want me to show you how it works?" So I was able to dial up the mainframe in Dallas and play tic-tac-toe for him. So this was actually my first contact with the outside world, was using one of these telex typewriters with the paper tape, and it was rather noisy. I don't know if anybody's ever had any experience with one, but so this was actually my first home computer. I bought this one in 1981. This was a TI 99-4A. I'm sure some of you remember it. It was probably the most affordable for me at that point in time. You would insert cartridges into it and run the OS from the cartridges. We got one more. Hello, Shirley. So what we're going to try to do is we want to build some excitement as far as revisiting the past, because basically what this presentation is about is it's going to be just totally the opposite of what went over last month. We talked about how to load newer software on an older Mac, and this month we're going to talk about running older software on a newer Mac. So we're basically in reverse. So what I want to try to do is set the mood and take you back to like 1984. So here we are. This was the commercial break. I'm sure you all have seen this. It's one of the most famous commercials during the third quarter of Super Bowl.
Left to play in Super Bowl 18. Raiders.
I love seeing this. It's a wonderful way to reminisce.
Glorious anniversary of the information purification. By the old history a garden of pure ideology, where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests of a public ignorance. The force is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people, one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall report themselves to us, and we will quickly them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
All right. So now that I've taken you back 50 years, my goodness. So there was a neat little statement that was in that video that talked about we have created for the first time in history a garden of pure ideology. And y'all can read this, but for the most part, this is kind of what they said during the commercial. So here we are. What did I say? 50 years, 40 years, 40 years. I'm sorry. I said 50, be 40 years. So yeah, 40th anniversary. So sorry, not 50, but 40. Information purification, right. So I can't see, obviously I'm not going to be able to see a show of hands, but I know that probably stimulated enough interest to where the first thing you guys did is went out and did a test drive, probably went and got a Mac from your local store and did the test drive, which I thought was a really pretty cool idea. I didn't personally, but I had a friend that did, so I was able to go over to his house and actually witness a Macintosh and touch it myself and look at it. Unfortunately, in that time frame, I think I was making like $6 an hour, so I was unfortunately unable to purchase a $2,500 computer. But yeah, it was interesting. So this was another commercial. This is just kind of to give you an idea to show you that what I'm going to talk about today has been around for quite a long time. You see, this is another commercial that I hope that you guys will remember.
Hey, here's a big shot.
Richard Rouse.
VP of Finance?
He's in from New York.
Excuse me, I need a PC to run this on. Is there one I can use?
Oh, yes, sir, you can use mine.
No, I said a PC. This is a Windows disk.
Yeah, you can run that on here.
I didn't think this was a serious business computer.
Does that help?
And that it's kind of ironic that I am also a potato head collector. So I have quite a collection of Mr. Potato Heads. So that was something that started back around when I was born back in the 50s. So yeah, I have probably every potato head that they ever made since then. So, but anyway, to hope I got kind of everybody into the mood to move them back to the mid 80s. And, it's like, okay, why did we buy a Mac? Well, we were interested in it because it looked like a fun computer. And it turned out that it was, because we had the talking moose and we had nice, cool games like Crystal Quest. It was a computer that we could actually customize using ResEdit. And if you had kids or you were a kid yourself for that matter, you had Oscar the Grouch that popped out of your trash can whenever you went to empty your trash. So it was, it was a computer that was kind of, meant to be fun. And that's like what the ad was saying. The guy said he didn't think it was a serious business computer because it was a fun computer. So, now the fun has kind of disappeared because it's for market share. And we're back to more of a business-like computer. So these are some of the things that I missed from those days. So back then there was the Smiley Mac, and I know y'all remember that. And it was born in 1984, and unfortunately it was killed by Jaguar, one of the later OSs in 2002. So this is a tribute. This is a poster that was put out back in that to memorialize the Smiley Mac from 1984 to 2002. So it was, this was an icon that was designed by Susan Kerr. And she's obviously still around, and she still is selling her artwork. And she does have a very cool publication with a lot of her icons that she's enlarged and publishes in a book. And she also has a website. So it might be something that y'all might be interested in looking at later. Somebody new, hello. We now have 6 presents. So anyway, so they've kind of brought it back in a sense because you got the Face ID, which is a very similar resemblance. So that was cool. So what is emulation? Emulation comes from the verb emulate, which means to imitate or reproduce. Therefore, a computer emulation is when one system imitates or reproduces another system, just like what you saw in that commercial with Mr. Potato Head, where the guy was needing a Windows machine, and he just, the fella just popped the disk in there, and it ran that particular piece of software. So emulation can be done with hardware, software, a combination of two. And since hardware is expensive to reproduce, most of the emulation, like I'm going to demonstrate today, obviously is done via software. So this is going to be an ongoing project. If any of you are interested in doing this is not something that's incredibly simple. It does take some research and some, it is somewhat of a challenge. There's lots of emulators out there, of which I'll show you how many there is. And I'll also tell you about I'm going to demonstrate maybe the 5 most popular ones, but I'll show you some other really cool things as we go along. So don't give up too soon. Like Thomas Edison said, I'm not a failure. I've just found 10,000 ways that it won't work. So keep that in mind. So it's going to be demo time. So what I'm going to try to do is, like I said, I'm going to demonstrate Mini VMac, which is going to set you back to the 128K, the 512, the Plus, those the software that ran on the little 9.5-inch screen, Basilisk, and then Sheep Shaver, and then we're going to run OpenStep, which was the early days of Next, and we're kind of doing this in reverse because the Apple II actually obviously came before the Macintosh, but I'll do a short little demo on Virtual 2 and Sweet 16 when the Apple II GS came out. That was another version basically of the Apple II. I'll try my best to demonstrate that for you. So remember that it's supposed to be fun, and I'd like this to be interactive. If anybody has a question or something they would like to ask, don't wait till the end, because I think Richard's got me scheduled to go to 1 o'clock. I don't even know if I have enough material to go to 1 o'clock, and I don't want to have y'all being bored to death on the other end and fall asleep on me. So. I don't know who actually drew the Finder icon. This was another one that it's kind of somewhat reappeared in a sense, the dual smiling face. It's obviously, this is something that is automatically associated with the Macintosh when anybody sees this icon. So I can I'll leave this up on the screen for a short period of time, but I can also send this out to anybody that's interested. These are some of the links, for the most part, that are associated with my demonstration today. The first one we'll visit will be Emmaculation. You have to be careful how you say that, Emmaculation. And then we'll move on down the road to some of the other ones that are not published on this particular page. But for the most part, I think about the first 5 or 6 actually are on the Emmaculation website. And I'm going to see if I can stop sharing on one computer and share on the other so I can actually show you that particular website. So let me see if I can do that. If I can get out of this. All right. How do I stop my screen sharing? All right. Oh, good God. There we go. There we go. Finally got out of the keynote. All right. Let me see if I can stop my sharing now.
I found that screenshot on the back, it gets your JPEG that has links that you can jump to. So if I took a picture,
Okay, good.
I could get the link.
All right, let me go back over. Let me go over to this Mac over here and see if I can actually share my screen on this one. No idea what y'all can see now. Let's see, not what I'm hoping you can see. There we go. Okay, very good. Very good. All right. So now I can actually see some of you up in the upper right-hand corner. So, and so yes, this is the main website. This is where I began when I became fascinated with emulation. This is probably your best source for doing that. It's funny, I'm looking at two screens and one of them's got a little delay to it. I apologize. So for the most part, this kind of welcomes you to the website and tells you kind of what it offers. And then the links are over on the left-hand side over here, right underneath where it says emulators. And somebody's texting me, I think so. Let me see. Is that right? No, something pinged. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about that. I apologize. I'm going to do my best to just pull this off the best I can. So for the most part, the first one we're going to visit is Mini VMAC. So you would tap on this, you click on this link for Mini VMAC, and it's going to take you hopefully to my bandwidth is going to be limited, so it's going to take a second to get there. So for the most part, here's the page entitled Mini VMAC. It was not updated, it hasn't been updated in a few years. The product, the software still works, but here's where you actually go to get the application. I used the version for Mac OS, obviously, and use the 3604 with the stable version. This unfortunately does not work on, some of these do not work on the M series Macs. So another reason to maybe hold on to your old Mac if you're interested in doing emulation. So fortunately, some of the software developers are transitioning to Silicon. So, and I can go along, as I go along, hopefully I'll be able to highlight which ones are available to you on the M series. This one is not. The Mini VBAC is not available on but on Intel only. So if you click on the link, and it's going to take you to yet another site. I'm sorry for the delay, but the bandwidth is limited here. So here's this is a completely different website now. This is actually, let me see if I can move this out of the way. There we go. Yeah, this is a completely different website now that you've left Emulation to go here to be able to download Mini VMAC. And then what you have to do for the most part, it's not really intuitive, I'll put it that way. A lot of these have the README files and so forth and so on that you have to follow. And there are some things that you have to research on your own, obviously, to make these things work. I've been doing this for, probably 5-6 years. And I've got a lot of software emulation. And it's just, it serves no purpose really, other than the fact that it's just a challenge and it's fun. I mean, that's kind of the way I do it. Just, I'm going to say, I want to see if I can do this and see if I can accomplish. There's Richards. Okay, there's Richards texting me saying, looking good. All right. Well, thank you very much. So anyhow, if you just, I'm available, hopefully, if you're serious about maybe doing some of this, that we can chat about it. But for the most part, I think the most fun is if you just take it upon yourself to just spend some time Googling and looking at this Emulation website and clicking on the links and moving on from there. So if I can do this, let me see if I can minimize Firefox here, and I'm going to minimize this window, I believe. Okay. And I think I still have you. And this is the icon for Mini VMAC. Okay. So I'm going to click on this. It just pops up. Hopefully I'm on the right screen. Okay. Very good. So now it's looking for a floppy disk. So this is some of the things that you'll have to figure out how to make this work. So it's just, you all have probably seen this if you've owned a Mac, especially an original one, because you booted off of the floppy disk. There was no hard drive to boot from. So what I'm going to do is come up here to File. I guess y'all can see that. Let me get this. Well, I thought that was off the screen. Let me see. There we go. Yeah, maybe you can see it now. All right, so I'm going to go up to File. All right, and where it says Open Disk Image. All right, and I've got to go to where Mini VMAC is on my machine. So I'm going to go back to the Applications folder and scroll back up to Mini VMAC. And kind of open that up, and I've already got it highlighted. This is the disk that I want to use that I that I was able to find and download. I did not create this. I actually was able to download this disk image. And when I opened this, it's amazing how quick that worked there. You know, it's like, wow. I mean, it's already booted up. It wouldn't have happened that quickly back.
Macintosh is good.
This is going to be like this is going to be system. Let me see what this is. System 6, I believe.
Mac Plus?
This is going to be system 6. So this is basically emulating a 128, a 512, a plus, one of those early original Macintoshes. There is a way that I can make this bigger for the most part. I went up to the special menu and I clicked on more commands, and that brought this box up here. And it tells me that I can make this go full screen if I type the H to see the available command. So I'm going to hit the H key. Oh, Control H, I'm sorry. So got to read the directions. Control H, there you go. And if I want to see this full screen, I just hit the F key. And now I've got it much bigger. And hopefully I can remember to type the F key to get out of this. So for the most part, type C to continue. So there we are. Now we've got it on a bigger layout here. And I'm going to have to see if I can move these folks out of the way here, kind of. I don't think I can. All right, try it this way. Y'all can see okay, you can see the disk image. Unfortunately, I can't see it on, there we go. Now I can see it. All right, so I'm going to open up the drive here, and y'all can see that I've got some applications, some antique applications. And I know Taylor out there likes Dark Castle, as I do. And it screams, and I don't know that there's any way that I can actually slow it down. And I do know that, unfortunately, I think that it's going to crash because there's an issue that I have with the sound. So I'm going to have to try to, once I get going, I'm going to probably end up having to quit it right away, because the first thing that's going to happen is the sound is going to freak out like it usually does.
I want to hear the birds.
All right, now if I go to, let me see if I can just go to demo. Maybe I can just go to demo, see what happens. Actually, I don't think you're hearing anything.
No.
Yeah. I guess that's a fault of Zoom. I'm not sure, because ordinarily you would be able to hear all the little squeaky sounds and this, all the noises that this character makes. Hopefully this is something I think actually yes, those are rats. Yeah, those are rats. That's part of the fun of this game, is this guy has to throw rocks and kill the rats, and then work his way up to that. He's got to go get the key first to work his way up to got to kill the rats to get to the key. Then he gets to the key and he walks back up the door and he unlocks the door to go to the next level. So now he's working his way up here to get to the key. Still got to get the key and then go back and unlock the door. But anyhow, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but these are some of the, they don't make this anymore, obviously. I mean, this is only available to you if you go and create the emulator and go back and load Dark Castle and run it. And this is kind of what makes it fun. This is what makes it a challenge. Well, let's leave out of that. And let's see, I think I can interact with this possibly. I believe I can. Let's see. Begin game. This is where you had to try to keep a glider in the air. I don't remember what the key presses are. Sorry. Oh, all right. Well, let's see. I don't remember what the key presses are to keep it up in the air.
Woman in the closet with a shoe.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to press here. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, I need more practice. I need to play on this. So let's anyway, we'll get out of that. But for the most part, this is mini VMAC, and it looks just like it did back in the day. You can come over here and see some of these. This is the way the old control panel setup used to be. And obviously things have changed massively. Even with the latest couple operating systems, we've gone from control panel to system preferences, and now it's system settings. And, you know, I think there's a lot of people actually get lost now in the system settings, trying to figure out where to go find things. And this was so straightforward way back in the day, obviously, because you were just able to just find what you're looking for very simply. It was very, very graphic oriented and very easy to figure out, you know, what you needed to do to change the setting. See
Right.
if we can make a sound here. No. There we go. No. Must be a thing with Zoom for some reason. I can't, it's not playing the sound. But y'all may remember where is it? It's not up here. This is not one. I have to go to a different one. Any old scrapbook, some of the old images that used to be in the scrapbook, you know, early time graphics, the bitmap graphics, alarm clock, you know, we've got oh yeah, the calculator kind of looks the same. You know, they haven't really changed the calculator. Add a little color to it, but you know, it's still the simple little calculator that it always has been. But this is kind of fun. This takes you back to system 6 for the most part. This is back in, you know, this is a system that came actually, I take that back. I think if you bought a Mac in 128, I think it was actually system 5. I think the first actual system that shipped was system 5, which I've not emulated, but so this was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think system 5 was the first OS to actually ship on a Mac, and then you upgraded to 6, and then on up certainly from there. So what I'm gonna try to do is leave this one, and we'll go to the next. I got to press. Let's see, what is it? HC Control
F.
Control F. There we go. Control F. There we go. I'm going to quit Mini VMac and go back to, if I can, see if this shows up here. All right.
There we
There
are.
we go. So we're back. And we're back. This is actually kind of working. I'm surprised. Let's see if I can go back to the bandwidth is very limited. Okay. Okay, so now we're back to the other emulators, and we're going to kind of move up the list here. I've got them. I don't know how well you can see well, you can't even see my dock. Can you? Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
All right, now I can see it. You can see kind of where I begin here. This is where all my emulation begins, right here, kind of in the center of my dock. I have Parallels. I have VirtualBox. I have Sweet 16. I have AUX Runner. There's my Virtual 2 Apple II. Sheep Shaver, Basilisk. There's the one we just ran, the Mini VMac. I have X Quartz. And then we're going to get out of the Mac system there with DOSBox, back into the Mac Apple system with the Lisa, which I know that one excites Richard because he's trying to get his Lisa to work. And then this is actually another emulator that runs the older Mac OS. But I've got, there's lots of things I can show you, and I might be able to fill the time, but I don't want, like I said, I don't really want to bore anybody. So I'm going to move on to Sheep Shaver, which is this one right here. And so if you click on the Sheep Shaver link, it's going to take you to this page. You scroll on down. All right, there we go. Sorry for the delay. I apologize. The bandwidth is not the best. So then this is kind of what you're looking for. Download the latest version, Sheep Shaver for Mac OS, right there. I click on that. And sooner or later, it's going to take me to this page. Now, this is one of the builds actually that's universal, that will actually work on the no, maybe not. Let me take that back. This is, yeah, here we go. Apple Silicon. Yeah, exactly. So starting with version 2. Look how you got it working with ARM. Around 2.5, obviously. So here, this version of the 2.5 back in May 19 obviously wasn't working with Apple Silicon, but I always use the latest build. So this is the one that I would actually use. but you have to come here to actually get the download. So for the most part, this is what you would, where you would get the sheep shaver download. And then once you get it downloaded, then you return back over here to where you were. Like I said, this does take some work, because now you're down here where it says setting up sheep shaver for Mac OS 10. So I've moved down from where I was. I was up here where it says sheep shaver for OS 10, down here to documentation to setting up sheep shaver, and I click on that. It takes me to this by far was the best website for getting me started with emulation. So you just, for the most part, going to have to do some reading, some research, and it's going to be a challenge, and hopefully it'll be fun. I mean, don't give yourself a migraine trying to do this, and it's going to probably take, it may take a couple of days for you to eventually figure it out. But I think it's
okay, not now. The ROMs were protected. So you had to have a ROM in order to run an emulator, but now.
Yeah, right here.
Maybe not protected anymore.
Well, yes and no. I mean, there's some questions on whether or not I think a lot of these websites do not want to take the chance of telling you exactly how to find them. So they'll use kind of enough kind of persuasion in their description of, hints or whatever it is. I mean, you're going to have to go out and some of these you are going to have to go out and seek the ROM files. They are easier to get now than they used to be. Like it says here, it may be difficult to get a hold of a ROM file, because of Apple's license agreements and so forth and so on. But so this is what I was just saying. Emulation policy still does not offer a direct link to bare ROM files, although Apple seems to have stopped taking action against distribution of ROM files. So that might touch on your question somewhat. Mm-hmm. But as many emulators that I have and as many ROM files as that I need, it's still, kind of up in the air. These websites just really don't want to provide and get themselves taken down because they're providing links to these ROM files. Mm-hmm. But if you read closely, you can see here it says, the redundant robot site, seems to provide a OS 9 boot image. And oddly enough, when you visit that website, it says here, when you acquired that compatible ROM file, to rename it Mac OS ROM, so it tells you kind of gives you the hint in a sense that, maybe if you were on that website, you could get that ROM file from that website. They're not going to provide you with a direct link to do that, but this is some of the work that's involved in doing it. And the more you do this, the more I learn something every time I do it. I mean, it's like we just went through the Control C, Control H, Control F. I just forget sometimes where I need to go to do this, but for the most part, I learn something each time. Like I didn't know how to do the Glider app, but this can explain to you kind of what you need to do to get Sheep Shaver going, where the settings are made, how you actually tell it where the ROM file is located, where that disk image is located, and it's very spelled out, but it's not, I'll just admit to you, it's not a simple process. It is going to take some time for you to go through there, and some of it you're not going to understand. I mean, I certainly don't understand a lot of it. I just kind of follow the steps. And fortunately, also, there's great YouTube videos out there. Some of these people have actually created some really nice YouTube videos taking you through the process also, if you get stumped. I mean, there's lots and lots of resources out there. A lot of people do this. So it's, and I'll help you obviously where I can. It even tells you here how to actually use a real CD, But anyway, this is quite a site for getting you up going with Sheep Shaver. And so I followed those steps. I'm going to minimize this and see if I can go down here on my dock. Oh, y'all can see that now. So I'm going to launch Sheep Shaver. Hopefully it'll work. There we go. Now we're up to system 8.6. And I think I had some startup sounds associated with this one. So that's for the delay there. You're not actually hearing. I had back in those days, certainly some of y'all remember how you used to be able to have a startup sound, a shutdown sound, and change all your beep sounds and so forth and so on. There was actually a piece of software called Kaboom that allowed you to easily set all these and really make some really odd, funny sound settings. One of the ones I used to like to do is when an error message popped up, I used to like to have the Three Stooges say, "I'm trying to think, but nothing happens." It's like, just crazy stuff like that. It was just fun. But I apologize for the sound not working. Let's try and see. I don't know if I want to go to Flight Simulator, but we'll try just to kind of see if we get any sound.
FYI, Zoom silences the sound from other apps at the same time, so you'll probably not.
Oh, okay. So that's why you're okay. But for the most part, you're able to, there's Flight Simulator and I can, use all the menus as it's shown here, change airports. I don't know what's available local to us. If there's any Texas airports here, let's see. Addison, was there Addison up there? No, I don't see Addison, unfortunately. Let's see. Yeah, I don't even have Fort Worth or Dallas or anything. Oh, here's Dallas. There's
No, there's Dallas. They don't have Dallas.
I'm not. Oh, why am I not seeing Dallas?
There's no Dallas.
See, I don't see any Dallas, Fort Worth, any of the local airports around us. Anyway, can't have everything. Let's see. But anyhow, this is also probably one of the, obviously, it's not the first version of Flight Simulator because the first one was very graphical and green. That used to be on the Apple II, which I can actually maybe demonstrate for you. But this is Flight Simulator 4 when, the graphics really improved. So I'll quit out of this. I'm afraid to get into too much detail, or if I crash all this, it's going to take me forever to get back into my demo. But here's the version 1 of Photoshop. I mean, how many of y'all have seen version 1 of Photoshop? 1.0.7. I mean, that's I think we're up to, I don't even know, Creative Cloud. I don't even know what version it is now, 15 or something like that. I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm not sure what the. But yeah, it's 512 pixels by 512 pixels, 72 resolution, RGB color. Anyway, it's going to do just kind of what I tell it to do, and so this is kind of what we had to work with back in the day. It was
Current version of Photoshop is 25.9.
Oh, 20. Okay, there we go. 25. So this really takes you back into history. Let me see if I can actually bring up. Yeah, Thomas Knoll, John Knoll, Russell Brown. Yeah, 1985, 86, 87 copyrights. Photoshop, I don't know if y'all remember, you probably do, originally started out as a plugin, a scanner plugin called Barney Scan. And I've been looking for a copy of that. I think I actually, when I worked for Tarrant County back when the Mac came out in 84, 85, I went to work for the Sheriff's Department. And I brought my Mac from home and got Photoshop. And I think I did have, when I bought a scanner, I think I did get that Barney Scan plugin, but I'm still kind of looking for it. It'd be interesting to find. But yeah, version 1 of Photoshop. I mean, that's how old can you get, to play around with. That's to me, that's kind of fun. Let's see. I apologize for, like I said, that this sound is not working for us here. So we'll get out of Photoshop. And this was one of my favorite games. And unfortunately, there's no sound, but I see if I can remember kind of how to make it work. It has tremendous sound, but like Taylor said, it cuts the sound out. But in my spare time at work, I used to play this. So it's left, right, up. Fire is the command key. Okay. So I'm gonna hit okay. Whoops, I lost my cursor. Up, see, we already hung up, already got it, already crashed it. Lost control. All right. I can't get my mouse back. I moved it out of the window. Now I can't get my mouse back out. And I can't, it's not coming back. I'm not gonna get my mouse back. Let's try something out. The tabbing. Yep, nope. Oh, I'm just changing the settings here. I'm not, can't get my mouse back in there. All right. Well, we're gonna see if we can just quit Sheep Shaver. My apologies.
Okay.
Hello. I have completely frozen it up here. I think Zoom adds some caveats to all this, unfortunately, because I swear this works, but I think Zoom has kind of done me in here. All right, you have to get worse than that. All right, do this. It's gonna have to force quit it. There we go.
That's
Back into it. Yeah, it definitely crashed it, but it comes right back. And it even gives you the message like you used to get when your computer crashed. So there you go. It ran a disk first aid to make sure that my computer was okay and made repairs, and they were done successfully. So I can boot my Sheep Shaver back up and get back where I was. And needless to say, I'm not going to launch Mars Rising, but or maybe we've seen enough 8.6 at this point in time. But let me make sure I can shut it down properly. All right, got my cursor back. And see if there's got anything else interesting here that's kind of, oh, it's kind of screwed up my desktop here, didn't it? You know, I guess that's when I went into, well, anyway, I don't need to put all that stuff back right now. I can do that later. Let's see. Knew there was, oh, this is one of the things I wanted to show you. This is graphic calculator. And if I run this demo, I mean, this thing used to run in emulation a whole lot quicker than it did, obviously, on the original Mac. And I found out they still make graphic calculator. I was able to download the latest version, which I have on my Sonoma, the graphic calculator that they actually still make this product after all these years. So, but anyhow, I think, you know, this is kind of, there you go. You can see how fast that thing rotates. Kind of, well, I don't think you're actually seeing it. I guess
Yeah.
no, I see it locally faster than you're seeing it remotely. Anyway, get out of that. I don't want to bore you with everything. Let's see if there was something else here I wanted to show you. I can show you this is now how the control panels work now on this system. So they've made, obviously it's starting to look like we're, you know, back to the created complication now. In other words, you know, so now we're starting to put everything in the kitchen sink into our Macs, because everybody's going, oh, look at this, I want that, I want this. So now we've got a lot more options available to us. But I don't know. I wish that I could see a show of hands of how many of you folks out there actually were able to experience this running systems this old. Shut this down properly now and see if I can move on to my next one. All righty, go back over here. Oh. There we go. All right, little delay there. So now we're going to move on to Basilisk. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce this properly, but I pronounce it Basilisk. You know, so this is going to allow you to run systems 7 through 8 now. So we just saw system 6, and previous to that, excuse me, after that system 6, before that, Actually, it was system 6, that's right. Yeah, and it was 8 point, we just looked at 8 point, this is actually older, I apologize. I should have shown Basilisk before I showed Sheep Saver. But for the most part, it's the same system here. You just click on the
Basilisk.
yeah, I've never pronounced it correctly. I'm
Basilisk.
Basilisk, yeah.
Oh, Basilisk.
I wonder what I don't know if there's actually a meaning behind it, if that's that means something. I have to look that up to see if that actually has a basilisk, maybe
Yeah, Basilisk.
basilisk, okay. Anyway, so it's kind of the same kind of thing you do. You download it, then you go back and you hit the setup guide, and it takes you to setting up 7.5 and so forth and so on. Kind of the same kind of
Basilisk is a mythical creature.
a mythical creature. There you go.
Did you not watch Harry Potter?
I was not a Harry Potter fan, so I did. So I guess all of you Harry Potter fans have heard that term before. So yeah, for sure. And if you go into an Apple store, obviously it predates the employees. I mean, they're all kids now. They wouldn't have a clue what any of this was. And it was fun when I went to work for Apple. When I left Tarrant County in 2005, I went to work for Apple in 2006. Which was the year that the iPhone actually came out. And I was privileged enough to actually be working at the South Lake Apple Store when the original iPhone was released. And that was quite the event. I mean, it's embarrassing to say, but yes, it did give me chills. And yes, it brought tears to my eyes. And it still does. I feel the emotion as I was standing in the Genius Room and I was able to boot one of these phones up and actually call my wife before it actually went on sale. And I remember talking to her and telling her, I said, you're not going to believe this, but I'm actually talking to you on one of the new Apple iPhones that we're fixing to sell. I mean, we closed the store down for a couple of hours to repair the sales floor, and people were lined up around the building. And, it was amazing how
that was the time when everybody pushed the button at the same time when it was released, ordering it, and they couldn't get
it crashed the servers.
Because the click didn't work.
Yeah,
And then I stood online at what Woody Allen played against Sam to do the divorce scene with somebody in the line.
Wow.
The past time.
But I know we had one of the employees out passing out water, because it was, in the middle of the year when it came out. But it was announced obviously at the Macworld earlier in that January, which I was fortunately able to attend and, watch the presentation live with Steve Jobs there and see him. In fact, I even saw him on the Macworld floor when he was looking at the display Apple phone out on the show floor, which was exciting. I actually got to bump shoulders with him. I actually never spoke with him, but he did run into me by accident one time. So, and I still have that shirt and I haven't washed it. No. But anyway, it was fun just, seeing him there, it's like, wow. I mean, that's really, and you want to reach out and touch him just to make sure that was really him, but that didn't happen because you weren't able to, especially as an Apple employee, they didn't even want you to, have, any association with you. But anyway, so we'll move on from there. So we're going to look at Basilisk, Basil Skill, or however you pronounce it. It's the S in there. It doesn't belong there. Yeah, so they misspelled it on the webpage because it's actually over here. It's Basilisk, and so they got an extra S in here. So that even. And they left, oh man, that's really misspelled incorrectly. Wow. I got it right here, but not there. Anyway, maybe somebody besides me will let them know. So let me go back a page, and then I'm going to go out and launch the emulator. Come on. My goodness gracious. Such a delay here. Keep on going. All right, there we go. Now we're back to the home page. All right, so all right. So now I'm going to launch the app that we can't pronounce. All right, and the mythical creature. Basilisk, yeah. So I don't know if you even saw how fast that happened. I mean, that's just like, my goodness gracious, I didn't even see the control panels and the extensions and all that load across the bottom of the screen. In fact, you're not even seeing this. There we go. Now you're seeing, wow, what a delay. I'm sorry.
I guess this is Wikipedia. You won't believe it.
I'll have to look it up on Wikipedia. I've got someone here that's saying that there's quite an explanation of actually what this term means. All right, let me see. Can y'all? I guess y'all can see that. Yeah. So now we're at the desktop of a computer running 761. So we've moved down. Actually, this is one I should have demonstrated earlier. I apologize. So we're in System 7. Funny thing. Let's see. Scrapbook. Look through here. Now we got color graphics in here now, and I no sense in playing the sound, but should look familiar to some of you. And let's see, I'm looking for, here we go. This is one of my favorites, jigsaw puzzle. And let's see if we can start new puzzle. Small, medium, large. Let's go large. Oh, looky there. You know, now you can sit there and waste your time instead of playing solitaire like those Windows people. Now you can play with the jigsaw puzzle. You know, obviously, I might be able to get this before the end of the meeting, but I thought they kind of snapped into place. Oh, there we go. Something like that. Yeah, there we go. Let's move this one out there. Might get it before the end of the meeting. Come on, baby. There we go. Come on, get in there. Hey. Nope, still not. There we go. All right, very good. Got it done. Anyway, that was kind of interesting. So yeah, this is romancing the past, as I like to say. So I hope you all get some joy out of seeing some of this old stuff. Oh man, yeah.
Tim,
Yes.
would you know what I would need to use to be able to run McDraw?
Yes, I might have an easier solution for you that I can show you in a few minutes.
Okay.
I do have a system that does have McDraw on it, and obviously I without just looking through all of them, I can't remember exactly which one. But as I progress through the demo here, I'm going to go into some pre-made emulators that save you these steps of having to build one yourself. If you're not interested in doing that, there are other ways, because people have kind of I want to say pre-packaged them for you. There are websites that I have in this list that I can show you where folks have actually assembled, Sheep Shaver or the other one.
Anyway, sounds great. I think I'm going to have to leave you guys around noon, but I'm going to hang in for the next 20 minutes or so.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can maybe get to it. I'll skip real quickly and see, but let's see if I have on this one. I have it once again, Adobe Photoshop 1.0. So let's see. I don't think there's anything. Don't think I have anything on here really worth running. I will say that you're probably wondering how you get software into this emulator. Well, you see here, this is disk called Unix. Okay. So what this is y'all can't see you can see my desktop. Okay. So there are some icons over here. There's SS shared and shared. Okay, this shared file is associated with this emulator. The SS shared is the Sheep Shaver. So if I go up here and click on the shared folder, you'll see kind of what a duplication of what you're seeing on the screen on the desktop. So this is a way that you can actually, it's kind of hard to do on Zoom. You're not seeing it. Oh, I see what's happening. I'm actually clicking on the Zoom window. I don't know if I can scoot these over a little bit. There we go. There you go. So now this is actually in a folder on your desktop or on my desktop. But yeah, this is where all those System 5753 disk parts exist on my machine, and I put them in that shared folder that is created when you create the emulator, and now they appear here. So that's kind of how you actually build the system. So I think we're actually running, what are we running? 753? No, 761. So actually I upgraded. I did an upgrade. I went from 753 to 761. So here is the.
Do you have more memory?
Here's Kaboom. No, the memory is limited to the emulator. You can only assign so much to it. So for the most part,
You have all these files
it's a 2 terabyte hard drive. I have a 2 terabyte drive
Huh.
on my Mac. You know, I've got, in fact, both of these Macs have different emulators on them. I've got so many to show. I'm not going to get through all of them.
Got several Macs.
Yeah, I've got 2 Macs here that have.
Not more than 2 terabytes.
Yeah, exactly. So this was the piece of software that I was telling you about called Kaboom. It allows you to assign all these different sounds to different functions of your Mac. And like Taylor said, unfortunately, I won't be able to really demonstrate it for you because it probably will crash. Maybe, I don't know. Or I can, yeah, I don't even know really what I'm doing here. I apologize. Yeah, it's called Kaboom, but there was a way that you could assign. There's a way.
Distant memory, I remember Kaboom.
Yeah. Yeah, with Kaboom that's Kaboom Factory. I'm sorry. This is the installer over here. I'm sorry, I'm running the wrong. I launched the wrong one. I apologize. I launched the wrong icon. This one over here, the installer. Oh, no, that's not right. I don't want to reinstall it. I'm trying to remember actually how you launched it. I think you go to sound. Trying to remember now even how to do it. You know, there you go. See, this is one of those things that I'm an old guy. See, I've already forgotten. So I'd have to actually go through and figure out kind of how I did this, because I know that if I was not doing this on Zoom, like Taylor said, it's muting the sounds from my machine. I did set start up and shut down sounds on this computer, and this is
I wonder when the people work for Apple.
yeah, here we go. Kaboom sounds. These are it's not going to great. Anyhow, it says 152 items. I'm not seeing any of them. Yeah, for some reason that folder. There we go. Here's some of the sounds that we have, and unfortunately I can't play them for you, but there's 152 different sounds that I can there you go. So yeah, all these, all these different sounds that I can assign to different functions of the Mac, which made it a whole lot of fun. And too bad I can't play some of them for you, but anyway, that's that. So we will exit out of this one and move on to the next onto the next one. So I'm going to shut this one down and move on to the next one. So let's see. Let's go over to this might be the one that we have McDraw on. Let me check and see. Let me see if I can take you to the website real quick to where this is located. Nope. Okay. Well, this is an online emulator here. This is actually run through a web browser. James Friend, this is an Australian website, jamesfriend.com.au PCEGJS. This allows you to actually run this emulator actually in a web browser. And I'm not sure if this is one of them has. There you go. There's McDraw. There you go. So this might be your easier solution, except for I'm not exactly sure. Oh yes, I do remember. Yeah, there's McDraw right there.
And it does allow me to save a drawing.
I'm gonna double check on that. I know that there is a version of the emulator that does this, but I'm not. I would have to look and see, because I'm not sure how this actually, because it's covered up with Zoom windows right now. I can't actually see I don't think this one does. I don't think this one allows you to actually output it to local where you can actually use it locally. So let me find the other
Okay. Well,
site.
it's a thought.
Well, there is a way of doing it.
I don't have to do a drawing very often, but every once in a while I do.
Yeah, that's amazing that you would like to use that older software. Let me just go to this app.
I just don't
And
find the newer software is good.
this one you
Maybe
can.
I'm
This is
weird.
another.
I'm weird.
No, this is the pre-built. This is one of the pre-built emulators, and this is one that you can just download and run as an application. And this one does allow you to move items back and forth. And I can show you where that is located if everybody can see this. This is called Macintosh.js. I'm not able to move this window. But anyhow, this is called Macintosh.js. And there's a README file here that basically explains to you, about how, oh, I'm sorry, that's not that one. You go down here to the help file, go to the help file, and it tells you right here that if you want to get files out or into the machine, where you go to do that. So it says right here, your Macintosh.js folder in your user directory. So if actually I tap on that or click on it, it eventually will take me to my user directory right here, TM Baker. There's the Macintosh JS folder. And within there, I have had something in there. There's nothing in there now. But if I put something in that folder, I would be able to see that on my desktop on this emulator. Kind of see if I can do this. Apologize for the dead air here. I'm looking for something. See if I have something here that.
Are the programs just floating around back then?
There's all kinds of software out there. Let's just see. It's a package load. I was going to see if I could actually find something I could drop in there that I could actually run. I used to have a folder with all these emulators, these Mac OS. I don't know. I guess it's on a different machine. My apologies. I didn't really have a whole lot of time to put this together and write a script, so I'm kind of doing this impromptu. So I was originally planning to do this in October. So I would have been obviously a little bit better prepared to show you. But I've downloaded all kinds of different pieces of software that, obviously I've loaded on the different emulators. And there's various methods to get them into the system. But on this one, you were asking about McDraw, and you would actually save your document to this folder on your desktop and be able to extract it. And it's right here. Once again, it's this Unix folder. Let me see if I can close this window here. So whatever I have in that folder, once again, shows up in this Unix folder on the emulated desktop, which would be right here. And you can see that there's nothing in there right now. So if I wanted to see if I just for grins, let me see if I can do this, probably blow the system up here, but I'm going to do an option copy and see if I can take this README file and copy it into that folder. All right. So now I should be able to go back out to what he said. I should be able to click on this and then go to that folder. And that file should actually be in that folder. All right. Nope. Yes. Yeah, no, it's not actually appearing in there for some reason, even though I've put it in that folder. Oh, I know what it is. It's not live. If you read further down, it tells you that you have to quit and reopen the emulator. It corresponds. So yeah, you have to shut down. There you go. Once you shut down the VM, he said, be chill about it. The more files you put in the folder, the more memory, will consume. So actually what I could do here, just to kind of for demonstration, is because it happens pretty quickly. Were you trying to tell me something? I'm sorry. Okay, let me just shut this down and reopen it. I'm gonna shut it off. All right, I'm gonna go back over to my folder and see if. Ta-da! There it is. There's the README file that I copied. So it'd be the same thing once you got Mac Draw loaded, you would be able to actually save off your files using this program, which I can show you where to go get it. And I'm just out of curiosity, I'll see if I do have, I don't know if McDraw is actually loaded on this or not.
Yeah, along with the recording, can you have a file that has some links in it, or are you allowed to provide those?
Oh yeah, I'm happy. That's kind of what I'm here for. I'm happy to share anything that I can with you.
Okay.
I'm not an expert at any of this, but I enjoy a challenge, and at 73, I try to keep my mind moving. And
You and I are the same age, sir.
Oh, cool. So I was going to look real quick and see if I had McDraw in here, but I could load it because I can actually go to one of the many websites that I have links to. In fact, let me just briefly interrupt this demonstration to go to one of them, just since you're on the air only for a short, about 9 more minutes. Let me actually go to.
Yeah, and I hate to hog the time, so anybody else that has questions, please.
Oh, this is so impromptu. So there's a website called Macintosh Garden. There it is down here. Okay, there's Macintosh Garden. So you go to Macintosh Garden, and you can see right underneath there's one called Macintosh. Oh, you're not seeing this actually yet. I'm sorry.
Yes, I am seeing.
I'm moving too fast. I'm sorry.
No, I saw it.
Okay, so right here.
Macintosh repository.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and this, so you've got Macintosh Garden, Macintosh repository. These are both great websites. This is the one that I actually prefer, is the repository. So this is macintoshrrepository.org. So you click on this, and you do have to create an account. So I've actually created an account with these guys, and it's a wonderful place to go to find anything. I mean, you can just, for out of curiosity, you want to see McDraw, I mean, just type in McDraw, and you'll see how many times McDraw actually will show up here. McDraw Pro, McDraw 2, McDraw Pro 1.5. So we can go over here. So there's Claris McDraw Pro 1.5. Do you know what version you need?
No, I've got all kinds of software and I have a external the diskette reader that
You've got mail.
that has a
Oh, somebody's on AOL.
yeah, well, no, I just got the sound file.
Your sound works, mine doesn't.
Yeah. Anyway, I have this external that's got a USB connection, and then I have a lightning adapter for USB. So I think I can read my old diskettes. So
in the emulator, possibly, yeah. I'm not so sure. I can't give you an honest answer to that without actually trying it.
I
But
haven't connected it. Yeah, I haven't connected it to my new laptop running the
I see.
the newer stuff, but I definitely would try that.
Yeah, I don't know if it would read it or not without actually trying it. But for the most part, I just wanted to kind of show you.
Yeah, 1.5 was pretty good.
Yeah, MacDraw is out there. I don't know how many other versions, for the most part, I can get my hands on from here, but let's try it. Let's see, MacDraw. Zoom kind of puts a little dampening on this. I can't. Things are happening a little slower to me. All right, so there's Mac Draw 2, Mac Draw Poker, Mac Draw 1.0, there's 1.7. That's Italian though, we don't want that. Looks like 1.5 is the latest that they have here. And it was actually modified and uploaded in December of 23. So it's a pretty recent copy. I haven't used McDraw in a long time, but anyway, the capability definitely is there. It may obviously going to require some time on to get everything kind of working, but you could actually run it in this emulator and get it. And this would be the easy way for you to do it because of the fact that it's already created for you. All you would need to do is download it. And let me show you where that is on the web, actually, where that emulator is. I had all these. Okay, here we go. So it's actually a GitHub, which may appear to be kind of scary to you. It's a GitHub website, Felix Reisberg / Macintosh.js. It's a GitHub site. If you just do what I just did, just Google it and look for Macintosh.js and go to the GitHub link. And then if you scroll down, it shows you the app, tells you all about it, and then provides you with the downloads. So very, very simply, it even works on Apple Silicon. So you could right here, you could download what you need. You wouldn't have to assemble anything. You just download this installer, for the M1 or the Apple Silicon. I'm sure it will work on 2s and 3s and 4s, but anyway, so you just download this zip and unzip it, and then put the app in your applications folder, and then with a click, you're there. And then to get Mac Draw on there, you would have to go to Macintosh Garden, download the image of the Mac Draw, place it in that folder that we talked about that's in your user folder, and it would appear right in here. So you put it in here. I don't think I actually have. I'm sorry, I'm just going to try something here just to see if I do have Mac Draw on it or somewhere. No, I don't. Okay. I think it may be on the other machine. I may have McDraw loaded on as a down. I've already downloaded it somewhere because I think I have McDraw, McPaint, that series of software. But anyway, I know you got to go here in a couple minutes, but I hope that I briefly kind of answered your question about, how to do this. This would be the simplest way that I could recommend it to you. Just go into this site, and you can very simply, you can Google it. That's what I did. You can see Google. Is it coming up? There we go. Google Macintosh.js, and it takes you right. It's the first thing that came up, and so this is this actual real developer. I know it's listed down here on somebody else's website, but this is where you want to go. You want to go to the GitHub, to this one, and then once you go click on that, then it brings up this, talks about it after, and it tells you how it works. I think you could actually do this. Just give yourself some time. I think you could actually accomplish it yourself.
Yeah,
or anybody else could do it.
Yeah, I took some notes, so it looks good. And thank you guys for letting me kind of get some questions in real quick. And I'll see you guys in a month.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, this was it's an impromptu. This was kind of what I was hoping for, was the interaction from the audience, because I wouldn't want to just sit up here and just
Anyway,
talk. I'm glad to have the interaction.
I have enjoyed the time. Thank you so much.
Well, you're certainly welcome. Thank you for being a member of the Dallas Apple Corps.
Tim, what's the emulator? Tim, what emulator would be able to open Mac 6?
6 we had running. We did 10.6. Oh, 10.6?
Yes, sir.
What did you say?
10.6.
Okay, so let me quit. Okay, let me shut this one down, and I'm glad you asked, because we'll just move on to the next part of the demo. This is a program called I don't know if you can see it on my dock or not. It's QEMU. This is yet another emulator. This one was just a little bit more difficult because this actually is an interaction with the Mac terminal, and I've actually set this one up, and I think you're going to enjoy this one. If you can see the icon down there, yeah, it says QEMUX.command. This is some work putting this together, but then again, there's a website that guides you through it. But once you do this, in fact, here is a screenshot. Let me just launch this real quickly. See if I could do this. This is some of the lingo. There you go. This is some of the junk. This is a script for the most part, and it's available on the website that shows you how to do this. This is kind of what you have to type out or copy paste for the most part to put in your terminal to make this work. So, once again, this one's not particularly simple, but I think once I launch this, I think you'll see how interesting it is. So I'm just going to launch this command, and this one is going to be really slow, unfortunately. It launches the terminal, and then it launches QEMU in the background.
QEMU.
And it'll take a minute here, because actually that's going to go away, and it should show us a bunch of text and make a mess of the screen before it actually comes up. It's probably even going to be slower because I'm on Zoom. But when I launched this last night just to check it out, I thought, okay, this is not working. But it's one of those things where you kind of got to be patient, and then all of a sudden the screen will give you some feedback. Here we go. So now this kind of shows you what's going on in the background. This is actually what happens when you boot your Mac. This is lingo that you do not see, but because the Mac is based on Unix, this is the garbage that's going on in the back that you don't see when you boot up your Mac. This is all the stuff that's happening in the background, all the commands that are being called, all the checking that's being done. This is kind of the I can't remember what they call this, but what mode it is. But you can actually boot your Mac up single kind of it's called single user mode, and you can actually see all that happening because we don't think about all that taking place in the background. Yep. All right. Uh-oh. Whoa. There we go.
Hello.
All right. So now we're back to the Smiley Mac.
Tim, can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is Barbara. Yes. And I've got my old original 1984 Macintosh right here. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
And it still works fine. I have McWrite and
oh my goodness,
McPaint though. It's got McWrite and McPaint, but it doesn't have McDraw.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I do not have any of my original Macs don't actually, not all of them that I have. I think I have some that I've inherited from various clients, and I'm embarrassed to say that I think I've got 4 in the garage in a box and 2 in my office, and none of the 6 actually work.
Oh,
I guess I did something to cause it. I guess I did something to cause it to reboot, or I think maybe I'm even running a second occurrence of this, because I got 2 windows open. I interrupted something. I'm sorry. So we never did get to the desktop, but that's interesting that you got a Mac SE actually.
Yeah. It was an SE, right?
Which actually,
but I bought it in 1984.
Yeah, the Mac. Well, the Mac SE actually was a little bit later than 84, because before the Mac SE, there was the 128, the 512, the Plus, and then the SE. So there's actually, you're about the 4th machine in. So yes, Mac came out in 84, but your SE wasn't produced till later in the 80s. Yeah. I actually that was my first Mac, was an SE, because I got a job to where I could actually afford to buy one. I went, I can't remember what the name, the Computer Craft or something like that, downtown Fort Worth. And
SE came out
and,
from March of '87 to October of 1990.
Oh. Well,
there you
so
go.
I,
Yeah, 1980s.
but I did buy it in 84 and I have the receipt still, and I can tell you that it was like $10,000, I believe. That was, well, that might have been including, that might have included the printer and the printing paper and the
Oh, it
other
had to.
thing. Yeah, but I still have that original
Anyway, yeah, I
receipt.
bought I think it was Computer Craft or something like that. I don't remember what it was in downtown Fort Worth. I bought it. I kind of remember the guy's name. His name was Ron Johnson. I don't know if anybody else has dealt with that, but his name just popped in my head. It was Computer Craft, I think. Anyhow, downtown Fort Worth. And I think it was for mine. I purchased it and an image, like you said. I think it was like $3,000 or $4,000, which is a, you know, my goodness, that's a lot of money for a 9-inch screen and a dot matrix printer.
Yeah.
But what this is here that I have that I just opened up is actually the very first version of OS 10. So this was back in 2001, and it was when OS 10 first came out, and so this was actually like I said, the first version of OS 10. And the cool thing about this is that I love these. I don't know if I can zoom in on my screen or not, but y'all remember the old Sherlock. But look at these buttons. Steve Jobs made the comment in the keynote. He said, I don't know if this working. No, it's not zooming. It's zooming in me locally, but it's not zooming into you guys. Okay. Anyway, he used to say icons that you can lick. I mean, the 3-dimension, these, it was, you'd expect them to have a taste to them, according to him. But this was the first. This is how originally OS 10 looked when it first came out, and did some really pretty cool things. If you went back and looked at the YouTube video of the introduction of OS 10, some of the things that he demonstrated, how you could minimize. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can do this or not. Let me see if I can. There's a key that you can hold down to where it kind of sucks it back into the dock. I forget which one it is. If I hit this one and I hold down let's try the option key first. No, yeah, there we went. It's just a whole lot faster though. There you go. See how it just kind of sucks it down in there? And he did it really slow. And I can't slow it down. None of the keys I'm pressing are actually slowing it down. There you go. That one kind of slowed it down a little bit. So it's the control key. If I held the control key down, that was one of the things that was in the demo that he was really impressed with, is the speed and quality of the graphics that you could, it would just suck that down in there. It's fun to go back and look at. It's fun to go back and look at. So this is interesting enough that I'm emulating the first version of OS 10, but inside the control panel and system preferences, I can actually launch Classic. So I can actually run another operating system inside of an already emulated operating system. I can actually run System 9 OS inside of this. And that's what they did for a while. It actually allowed you to run classic apps up until I think it was Leopard or Snow Leopard or whatever it was. And then you could no longer run PowerPC on OS 10.
Yeah.
Somebody's trying to say something. Anyway, I just get a big joy out of all this, just toying with the stuff. Like I said, I need to use Mac Draw to do something actually for production. That's kind of cool. I don't think I've used any of this for anything really, there's no need. I just enjoy doing it. And it's fun to accomplish, have fun, and be able to romance the past. And it really makes me feel good to do this and be able to see and bring back memories of how things used to be. Yeah, here's Internet Explorer. I mean, it was life-changing for Apple to actually deal with Microsoft and put Internet Explorer into the Mac operating system when, you know, sure.
Can you bring up on the side there, the other people who are listening, you can talk to, that sometimes we can see?
Yeah, let me see. I don't know if they're here, but I don't know.
Spread that one.
Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to launch that system preferences again. Sorry. I don't know that I can bring that Windows. I don't know why. I think if I stop. Yeah, I can hear him, but I don't see him. Yeah, this was going to be one of the problems that I knew that I was going to have, since I was actually having to be the host and the presenter. If Jonesy was here, or Richard was here, or Taylor, or somebody, you know, or even Lawrence, unfortunately, we're so shorthanded. The way this should have been done was that we would have had a standalone Mac that would actually have the folks up on the screen. Images?
On the screen we're seeing behind you. It's way up.
Oh, yeah.
In the corner, it's in the corner under the Macintosh.
Okay, second. I gotta get out of this. Control Alt G. I gotta Control Alt G to get my mouse, so I can get my mouse back. Okay, so I'm seeing, yeah, see, I've got the window of them right here, but I'm not seeing them in my.
Oh, yeah, look on the screen behind you, it's way up in the right, it says images.
All right, see, I don't know if you can see my screen or not, but I'm seeing them on my screen. It's just when I'm sharing my screen, it interrupts them being able to be seen. Because I'm actually seeing them. I can on my screen, I can see me twice, and then I see Richard and Taylor and Bernie
Your
and
screen, so
Jim
it's
and
perfect
Paul.
for those of us
and,
online.
Yeah, the folks here just want to be able to see everybody else. Now I see Bernie waving now. Now I got to figure out how to get it back out of my way. Now I got it. There we go. Yeah, I think if I stop sharing, I think it comes back up. It's like, I'm actually not seeing. I'm not on that computer that you're seeing there. I'm on this computer. This is actually this computer. It's kind of confusing, unfortunately, because I got two of them going here. So let me quit this. I apologize. I didn't mean to do restart. All right. My bad. All right. I did not mean to do restart. This is going to take forever here. I don't know if I stop sharing this screen, if y'all want to, yeah, I'm not, let me see if I can go, if I go to this machine, maybe now I'm on the other machine. I see what you're saying now, where I go up to view and side-by-side gallery. There you go. There you go. Okay. Yeah, the other Mac. Sorry, that was on the other machine. So now I got it up there.
I see my picture up there now, but I don't see it on the presentation on my computer of the Zoom.
Yeah, this is all kind of confusing me too, because I'm on Zoom and I'm trying to do this, and I've got two different systems going, and I'm sharing one screen and working on the other.
You see them now.
I got to get this up, and then I'm gonna shut this down and move on to something else here. My fans are just screaming here on my Mac, so it's working hard.
Ooh.
Can I ask Apple iMac 3G, the big old egg looking one?
Yeah.
I think it still works. Where are we in terms of operating systems?
I think the 3G was still a PowerPC, so you'd be able to get up to like OS 9 on it. Yeah. And this just doesn't appear to be working here. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, it says OS 9 2.1 on the
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, OS 9, which Come on, come on. I guess this is, I guess I killed this. Zoom is actually, oh, I do have two, yeah, there we go. I do have two occurrences of the same app running. That's part of my problem. That's why, another reason why it's causing problems here. Jeez. Now I don't even have a cursor. I can't even see my mouse now. I think I've.
You can press Control and hold the something with the mouse. Release now.
Control Alt G, yeah, yeah. There we go. Got it back. There you go. And I need to quit one of these occurrences. There we go. And one, I think one's just got frozen up or something. I'm not exactly sure what happened here. Let me shut this one down once it comes up. I'm sorry for the delay here. I want to try to not corrupt my virtual machine, so I'll try to shut it down properly. My fans are going full blast here. Here we go. Come on, baby. But yeah, that was 24 years ago. I mean, OS 10's been out 24 years now, which is, you know, we've seen a lot. All right, so there's one occurrence. This one's, I think, is that, there we go. Now I want to quit this one. See, I had two of them up there. Wow. Hello. Now, the last thing I want to do is corrupt my virtual machine. So, all right, let me see what's next on the agenda here. We want to do, okay, this is VirtualBox. This is actually an app that it like parallels in a sense, and you can download it for free. It's called VirtualBox, made by Oracle, and you download it for free. I'm running Mojave on this machine, so I had to stop at version 6.1. There is a newer version, 7.2, that requires a later OS, but the machine that I'm on currently, I stopped, and this is one of the things I did not explain earlier. I'm running Mojave on this, and the reason why I'm running Mojave is because Mojave was the last Mac OS that ran 32-bit operating systems. And so that's why I have most of my emulators on this older 2015, MacBook Pro. Like I said, I'm running Mojave, which is the last version of the OS 10 ran 32-bit. When you move up to the next OS, it was I forget what's after Mojave, but maybe Catalina, something like that. Anyhow, it cut out the 32-bit, went strictly 64-bit, no longer ran 32-bit apps. So that's kind of the reason why I'm at this version of the VirtualBox. And I'm sorry I didn't explain that earlier, but that's another thing that happened in the transition over the years is we went from 32-bit apps to 64-bit apps. And we also went from PowerPC to Intel, and from Intel to Apple Silicon. So we've got, you know, a variety of variables. So when you run these emulators, you really have to think about what environment you want to run and pick the appropriate, you know, operating system to put it on, because, and that's kind of the dilemma I'm in. That's why I have two Macs sitting here in front of me. I have a newer 2019 and a 2015. On my 2019, I'm running emulators that don't have to run in the 32-bit environment. That's all sounds confusing, and I apologize. But this is called VirtualBox. And this once again is something that does require some setup, but this is actually, I can run Snow Leopard in here. I just click on this here and I hit start, and then we'll be able to actually run in VirtualBox. And I don't know if everybody's able to see this or not, but it starts off. And I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to click, I think I have to click on, forget which one I click on, actually. See if I can crash it. I don't remember if it's the Macintosh HD or the iBoot. I haven't done this in a while. Oh, I mean, obviously it's not that. All righty. Oh my goodness. All right, so this is what you like to have happen when you're doing a demonstration. You'd like to, I think I completely crashed the whole thing here.
I just discovered I can zoom, so if I can't focus, I can't.
See if I can restart it.
I can zoom and zoom.
I don't remember which one. Well, anyway, I tell you what, let's do. Let's just be safe. Let's just don't run Snow Leopard here. Let's go over here and run something that probably nobody's even ever seen. BOS, which is a precursor to OS 10. This was John Louis Gasset's version of operating system that lost out to Jobs in his next OS that became OS 10. So if I hit BOS and first must I get a bigger window, which is nice. And now I'm going to launch. This is what John Louis thought that the next OS should be. The BOS operating system. And once again, this is one of the things that's kind of fun about doing this, is being able to run all these different operating systems. And you know, I got a point of Mac box in the way here. This box the other way. Okay. So now this is, oh, come on. I'm going to recapture the mouse. Sorry. So this is the BOS, and this is the way that John Louis thought the Mac, this was the supposedly the future of the Mac. That didn't happen. They did come out with BOS boxes, machines that, that ran this OS. And unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, they weren't successful. And, but there's this is kind of the way it was going to work. But initially, I don't know if y'all can see these or not. I'm sorry, I apologize. It means I don't think there's any way that I can zoom in on it. I apologize. But this was how it worked. I mean, you went up to that menu and you pulled over, and this is how you ran your apps. I mean, through these hierarchical menus, and here's Real Player, oddly enough. Some of these you might recognize, but CD burner, so forth and so on. Demos, I'll probably end up crashing it if I.
Is there a help menu in these emulators that you push on it and then?
Not on all of them, unfortunately. This says BOS cool stuff. So let's see. Here we go. So here's, this tells you about the BOS back then. I mean, these are documents, like this one says, if you look down here at the copyright 2000, so that's 24 years ago. So this operating basically is 24 years old. And I don't know if y'all remember the BOS or not, when when they wanted to make the transition to being Unix based and getting away from the PowerPC and moving up to OS 10, and so BOS was actually in the running and lost out to Steve Jobs and the next OS. So what time was it? 12:30. I'll tell you what, let's just move on real quick like here, because I've got a couple other things I want to make sure that I touch on before I.
Well, Tim, I want to thank you for a good program, and I have to say goodbye.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. By all means, be safe, stay cool. Yeah, a lot of this you won't do right the first time, believe me. I mean, it'll be this was actually the OS that this was actually the next OS. This is there was a next machine, as you remember. Let's see, physical change notes.
It always makes you wonder what would have happened if they had gone with BOS instead of next step.
Yeah, exactly.
There were apparently some very unique new things to BOS that was really kind of exciting to the new things. Next was more of looking backwards into just a stable Unix, but BOS was really kind of the future.
There we go. Well, it's still not very big. That didn't make it any bigger at all. Shucks. Now the problem is I'm not going to remember how to get out of it. All right, there we go. It's still up on the screen. There we go. So this is booting up now. This is the next operating system, NEXT. And in a second, we'll get to the desktop. There we go. So there's the next logo. I can't make it any bigger. I don't know how to make it bigger. Even if I pull it, stay small. See if I can just drag the window. No, so it's not getting. Yeah, it's not getting bigger. I'm not.
I can zoom on my end.
Oh, you can zoom on your end. Okay. So anyway, so this is kind of a short little demonstration on with the OS. I can't hardly see it myself, unfortunately. I don't know if this is because I'm in Zoom or what the issue is, why I cannot make it bigger. But if I was not in Zoom, because I have made it bigger, so I don't know what the restrictions are, what the issue is, why it's not. But anyhow, you were talking about the help file. This is the help file actually located within NextOS, which would guide you along as far as how to use Next. And it's interesting to go back and look at and read some of this stuff. And here's some of the programs. I don't know if anybody can even see this. I'm sorry, it's so small. I won't stay here for long, but Next was very colorful, and Next also had his own, because Steve Jobs had actually been ousted from Apple for a period of time, and then brought back as the CEO, or actually the interim CEO before he actually became the CEO again. But yeah, he was ousted from Apple, and then that's how why he developed the Next, and then he was brought back in because they liked the operating system that virtually became OS 10. So there's all kinds of literature out there and DVDs that have very interesting stories of the history of Apple. And I've just been fascinated over the years with all this stuff, and my bookshelf's just full of books that have partially been read, and DVDs. Like there's a DVD called, I just looked at it last night, called Welcome to Macintosh, that had all of the original interviews with all the original Mac developers, talking about then and now. And it was filmed back in around 2000, I think it was, called Welcome to Macintosh. It's actually a DVD that's available through the web, and it's an interesting story of Apple. But let me get out of this and move on. Log out. Power off. We'll move on to something else here.
Open step, and then there's next step. What's the difference?
Well, open step is next. Open step is the next. That's what the operating system was called for Next. It was open step. All right. Safe to turn off your machine now. Okay, there we go. Very good. All right, so I'm powering off my virtual machine. But anyway, this is virtual machine. This is another environment to run emulators in. Of course, we all know, and I'm on the wrong machine. Let me get on the other machine because I don't have let me see. Can y'all see? Am I moving? Okay, let me see. If I go to my parallels on this machine, I think you might find this interesting. This is, a commercial product that's available called Parallels. This is another thing that, it's just like you're going to look at this and go, this guy's cuckoo. Anyhow, Windows 3.11, Windows 98, Windows XP, which I named Nightmare because actually my when I first bought a Windows machine, this was the OS that I had to encounter, was Windows XP. But anyway, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11, and then I actually have Vista, but it's not on here. I have the environment on another machine. But all these different OSs, there's lots of OSs, lots of emulators, Ubuntu, FreeDOS. These are not emulators. These are actually OS. These are Mac. These are operating systems that are Linux operating systems mixed in with Mac OS 10.14. This is elementary. And here's one. This is a copy down at the bottom is Wubuntu. Wubuntu is Ubuntu that looks just like Windows 11. I don't want to launch all these because I'm going to run out of time. But here, one of the things that you can actually do in parallels is you can virtually run Mac OS. And you, I think in the newer version of Parallels 19, you can actually run like Sonoma, or you can run a lot of so if you have to have that dual environment and run an older Mac OS, you can actually do it within Parallels. But this, some of them you can do in VirtualBox, but I believe Parallels makes it easy for you to do the modern OSs oh shucks. Damn it. What does it tell me to do? Allow extensions. What does it tell me to do? I thought I had all this done. Open system settings. Where am I supposed to go? Hypervisor. Scroll down. All right. Well, I've screwed myself up here. Privacy and security. Thought maybe I would get the. I'm sorry. Thought I had all this done and configured, but obviously not. Okay, Parallels is checked there. Scroll down. System settings. Why is it not? Oh, there we go. Allow. There we go. Of course, now it's going to restart. Yep. Okay. Oh, you know what it's going to do? I bet it's going to restart my Mac. Oh, God. All right. Well, I don't want it to do that. Sorry. I'm going to lose the meat. Nope. I think I just messed up. I thought I had all this done and ready to go. I had all the appropriate. This is one of the issues with the newer operating system, is having to launch all these security preferences and approve this and that and so forth and so on to get things to work. But for the most part, let's see if I can launch this one without issue. Maybe it's going to do the same thing. Yeah, I guess I don't have it configured properly. Maybe. Oh, maybe I do. It's going to run. So elementary is Linux. This is a Linux OS that I'm running in Parallels, virtually. And to me, this is one of the versions of Linux that looks kind of like the Mac OS. And this is actually Linux that you would run on if you had an old Windows laptop that was obsolete and you couldn't run Windows 11, Windows 10, whatever. What a lot of folks do is they put Linux on these old Windows laptops. You can actually put it on an old Mac laptop. If you have an old Mac and you want to run Linux, you can actually load Linux on your old Mac laptop. But this resembles, everybody can see this. This kind of resembles how the Mac OS looks, but it's Linux. So I can actually run this, like I said, on an old Windows laptop that maybe you could find a used one for $100 or free or whatever, and you can actually run a late operating system on your box, on your laptop or whatever. So let's see. Yeah, so it's it's kind of straightforward in a sense. But yeah, this is the kick that I get, is I try to find as many operating systems as I can to emulate and play with and run. To me, it's just it's a real kick. Yeah, there's a whole lot more, but I'm actually kind of losing my voice and running out of gas. So does anybody have any initial questions that I might answer before I'm about ready to call it anything else? We got the room till 1 o'clock, but I've kind of become discombobulated now, so I'm gonna go ahead and.
Could you put dots on?
Yes, there is an emulator called DOSBox that you can actually run MS-DOS on. So there's, for the most part, there's this is a software that will run on the Mac that allows you to actually run the DOS. And reason why I have this one up here, and I'm sorry, I forget what I need to type in. I think I have to change the directory to C. Let's see, CDs. Let's see. No, it's changed directory. I got to change the drive. I have directions on somewhere on how to do this that I've typed somewhere. The only reason why I loaded DOSBox is so I could actually run BASIC, the programming language BASIC. Because when I was in college, I wrote, I kind of supposedly, obviously I didn't learn it because I don't remember it now. But I took a class on BASIC and Visual Basic and learned how to write BASIC programs. So I wanted to load the basic programming language on the Mac. And so I did it with, I'm able to do it with DOSBox. And if my mind was a little more coherent now, I would know exactly what to type in to get BASIC running on DOSBox here. But I'm
BASIC was the first system on the IBM PC.
BASIC was the first programming language, yeah. Symbolic, I forget what the acronym was, but BASIC was actually an acronym. And that was one of the cool things about my dad having that telex typewriter in the house, is you could actually run BASIC, could connect with the mainframe and run BASIC on the mainframe. And that's, that was before Fortran and COBOL and, all the other languages that came out after that. Yeah, we've obviously come a long, long way. And I know I'm probably forgetting to show a ton of things. Oh, yeah, I do. Let me show you this real quick. Let me show you Richard. This is one of Richard's favorites. This is the Apple IIe running on a Mac. This is a simulator called Virtual 2. This one does have a cost associated with it. It's minor, but I think it's $10-20 or something like that for this. And you can run Apple IIe software on here. So you just basically click on the, you see the 5 1/4 floppy drive. I can go over here and I hit insert disk image, and I come over here and it should take me to Solitaire. So we hit open and close it, and now it should boot into Solitaire, hopefully. And what Solitaire would look like on an Apple IIe. So there you go. Remember those days, guys? Unfortunately, you can't hear the sound. But I know that when Richard looks at the tape, he's going to get a kick out of this, because this is one of his favorite machines. Was the Apple II, the IIe, 2C, but yeah, this is. And don't ask me how to play it, but we're going to see if we can. Probably going to crash it. Let's see. So you might want to turn your monitor sideways now. Okay, so. Yep, you're right. No, I don't think I want to do that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay, so quit. Yes, no. We're going to quit that because we don't want to see that sideways. Why didn't you win? Anyway, so it's kind of fun. I mean, I love all these old. Sir? Hello? This one may be one that you might recognize. If I do reset, boot. No, it's not going to do it. All right, let's just do restart. This was one of my fun ones to run. This was Eliza. I don't know if y'all remember Eliza. So this was the first somewhat AI Yeah, there you go. Y'all remember this? Eliza? You know, this was almost early AI back in the Apple IIe days. A virtual doctor. And if everybody hasn't fallen asleep yet, but for the most part, yeah, this gets kind of crazy on how it works, because you can just type random things in, like can't find my way home, or something like that, and it has a conversation with you. I'm sure some folks out there remember this. Please tell me your problem. Okay, I cannot find my way home. And she comes back and says something stupid. Okay, I'm not sure I understand you fully. Okay, well, I am lost. And she comes back with, please go on. I have lost my way home. Anyway, I'm not going to waste any more time here, but this, for the most part, this was very early. What does this suggest to you? Anyway, this is very, very early supposed pseudo AI, which is kind of cool. Nope, sorry, got Siri. I said the S word. Let me shut this down and say goodbye to everybody and close up shop here. So. All right, folks, if you don't mind, I think I'm going to sign off. I appreciate your spending time with me. I hope that you got something out of this. I'm I don't know if y'all get my mailing email address or any of my information when you get your newsletter or your meeting notifications. I think you can find me in the carbon copy. I think it is in the email, or it's my email address is up there as tim_baker@mac.com. Just email me, and I can, I'll help you where I can. And you probably may. Yes. Who?
Thank you, Tim. This is awesome.
Oh, well, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm sorry you're not here. I'm sorry Lawrence is not here, Richard's not here, and Jonesy's not here, because I could have sure used the help.
Well, I'm in town, but I got a cold, and I figured you didn't want me sharing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I was somewhat able to pull it off. It didn't kind of go as I had kind of sort of scripted, but I guess it went successful. I was able to show you most of what I had to share with you, but there's obviously more. I mean, I didn't get to show you the web page from Wikipedia that lists all of the actual emulators out there. I mean, you could just spend the rest of your life doing this. I just enjoy toying around with it. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna stop sharing here and sign off, I guess, is what I need to do next. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show. And I'll try not to do the presentation next month. We'll let somebody else do the presentation next month, hopefully. Hopefully when Rich comes back, or Jonesy, or anyway, I hope it's not me. So y'all take care, stay safe, try to stay cool, stay hydrated, and enjoy. See you next month.
Thank you.
Now it's